It's a step, but at least it's one step. And what Jean was saying is that it's important for young people and other people, all people in our community, to realize where we stand and how close-knit we want to be. And whatever we can continue within our own walks of life, reaching out and re-embracing what we did before COVID is going to be important for us in our future of Chiillicothe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Don Wilkes. I live at 156 Hanover Drive in Chiillicothe, and I have a couple of things I wanted to share. Number one is, in my 40-year career when I was working, I managed large government contracts approaching $100 million, and I found that a planning and integration function, which also can be equivalent to a chief of staff position, is very effective in not only maintaining sound communication between all different departments and organizations that would be involved in a complex function like the operation of a city, but also is a very important function in looking at cost effectiveness and what can be saved and moved for other priorities at the drop of a hat, when otherwise it can bring a very well-run structure to a grinding halt. So I would suggest that you carefully consider approving Mayor Feeney's recommendation for a chief of staff position. I think that that would also facilitate the continued growth of this community that we've seen in the last several years. The National Heritage Site, looking at what kind of a positive affirmation we can provide citywide in response to Ms. D'Souza's comments, to show that we indeed are a diverse community that is integrated and supports each other. I would suggest even banners around town hanging on the lamp posts, like where we put our snowflakes during the holiday season. I've seen banners in other cities attesting to the priorities and principles of those communities, and I think that we can stand behind the sound principles and priorities that we can all agree with here as being important for the continued growth and directions that our city is moving in now. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anna Armistead, 173 Coral Lane. I am the program coordinator for the Hope Partnership Project. It is a nonprofit for substance use disorder. And I just wanted to come to inform you and the community of our forum that we're having April 25th at the Ross County Service Center. It is focused on the topic of harm reduction. There's been a lot of questions about what harm reduction is and about the vending machines that we've installed here in the community, and that would be a great time to come and learn about them and get your questions answered. That's all. It is from 5:30 to 7:30, and I have flyers and information if anybody would like it at the end.
Thank you.
Excuse me, I would like to speak to Mrs. Ames's comment about the chief of staff position. Mayor Feeney did submit a balanced budget with the chief of staff position in it at the end of the year to review, and there has been one committee meeting on it actually.
Seeing no more audience participation, we're going to move to old business.
Wait a minute.
I'm sorry. I'm,
I want to find the mic. I wasn't planning on speaking tonight. I'm Janet Griffith. I live at 603 Comanche Road. Uh, about the park and the geese. That's what I want to talk about since the gentleman brought it up. I've lived here since I've been 5. I came from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. My dad opened Prepara's supermarket. He knew everybody in town. But anyway, I grew up in the park. My mom took me there, and my brother. She taught us about the leaves in the park. We did picnics in the park. It was a beautiful, wonderful time for a family. That is a family park. We have the Scioto River that goes right through here where the geese can home. The geese were never there when I was a kid. They have increased. There's poop on the floor all over from them on the sidewalks and on the roads. It's not pleasant to use the park that way. You don't trust your children to get down and play in the grass. When we did Shine on Chiillicothe and our trees were over on the side by the Y the first year, the geese took over. We had to run them off. There was geese, whatever you want to call it, all over everywhere. They have taken over the park. People don't want to take their children to the park. They don't want to walk through the park. They used to be on their lunch hour and go down there and sit and eat outside. We need to straighten up the geese problem. The geese. So I don't know what the rest of the ordinance says. I'm only addressing the geese, but something needs to be done. They brought the dogs in, and the dogs worked for a while, but because the people were feeding the geese, they came right back. So there's plenty of other areas to go where people don't want to use those areas in Chiillicothe and surrounding Chiillicothe. We don't need to let the geese have the rights. It's well known that when rights are abused by one side, the other one suffers, whether it's geese or people. We shouldn't have to suffer with the geese, and I'm sorry. Thank you.
thank you. If you look at the ordinance for audience participation, you'll find that I'm not a very good timekeeper, apparently. But I think this was a good discussion from everyone. I appreciate everyone's comments, and thank you once again, Ms. D'Souza. Oh, I'm proving I'm not a very good timekeeper.
I'm Jacob Chamberlain, 429 East Mound Street, that is in Circleville. I'm here on behalf of 730 Orange Street, Great City Church, recently incorporated in October. I am a steward there, and we are having a Big Serve weekend, April 19th, 20th, and the 21st. I was asked to make the community aware of that and receive any requests for pickup, anything like that. In our previous serves, we've done hedge trimmings, basic labor, things like that. We'd be happy to help businesses or individuals. I can be available after if anyone would like to speak with me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm now going to survey to make sure I don't miss someone. Old business. Today, the mayor had sent us the names of 2 people to be appointed to the Tax Incentive Review Council. Has council had an opportunity to look at those names, to consider that?
President Shoemaker, I had a question as far as, I went to the meeting last week and we weren't able to participate because we didn't have our assigned people. But my understanding is that council approves those abatements. So my concern, should we have somebody from council represented on the review cycle annually for that. I guess I just want to open up that conversation. I don't know if this is the right time to do that or not, but I think since we're the ones that approve it, it would be good for us to have one of those two positions to make sure that we're getting what we signed up for when we approved the abatement.
The positions are statutory, so it doesn't require it to be someone. But obviously, since this council approves it, if there's an issue that someone wants to raise about that particular issue, I mean, we can certainly refer it to committee or have the discussion now, whatever is the pleasure of this body.
President Shoemaker, I nominated myself. I've been attending those meetings for 8 years. I'd be more than happy if there's a council person who would like to take the nomination today and attend in my stead. Please. They're meeting, so just so for everybody's reference, and I think we talked about this last time, the approval happens in front of council. It happens at a council meeting, and then the group meets once a year to review and check in to see if jobs are being created, maintained, so on and so forth. So if there's a council person who wants to raise their hand and attend once a year, I will gladly step down. Perfect. I nominate Councilman DeMint and Tammy Leonardo.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll.
Bennett,
Yes.
Payne,
Yes.
Nickerson,
Yes.
Barnes,
Yes.
McKeever,
Yes.
Dement,
Abstain.
Henderson,
Yes.
Kroll,
Yes.
Creed.
Yes.
The appointments have been approved. Next, petitions or correspondence. Have we received anything?
Thank you, President Shoemaker. I've not received anything.
Moving on to new business, just let you know that I did ask the Attorney General's office to send us a copy of the Ohio Sunshine Laws. It's online, but I do better with a book than I do on a screen, so I have a copy. I'll leave it here if anyone needs to take a look at that. The next thing, and we'll do this quickly, the next meeting is scheduled for April 8th. That's when the eclipse is going to take place. As I've had conversations with everyone here at the table, there's a question about whether we would have a quorum. What is going to happen is I will be here that day. I will call the meeting. There won't be a quorum here because no one's going to be here other than me. And we will move the meeting then to 7 o'clock on Wednesday, April 10th. And I'll send out a notice so everybody gets that that's asked for information. So we'll send that out to them. With that, we'll move on to
President Shoemaker.
yes.
Under new business, if you don't mind, I would like to, since you're going to change that meeting to the 10th, I would like to schedule a public review meeting for April 10th at 6:15 for assignment 24012, the assignment for Chief of Staff that I tabled this evening. To do that, I need to have 2 council members request this review session with me.
I will also do that with you.
Thank you. 6:15.
So are you going to send out the notice then? Just
I will
to-
send out a
okay.
notice.
Go ahead and send out notice because all it requires is for 3 council people to ask for it. So there's not a vote necessary on this.
Right.
So it'll be scheduled at 6:15 on April 10th. And assuming everybody's made it back from the eclipse activities, then we'll have that meeting.
Thank you.
Moving on next to the reading of ordinances and resolutions.
Thank you, President Shoemaker. Item number 1 is the third reading of an ordinance establishing the pay scale for part-time summer and fall seasonal employees within the Parks and Recreation swimming pool, engineering, utilities, administration, service, police, law director, Human Resources, and Auditors Departments of the City of Chiillicothe for the calendar year 2024.
Clerk will call the roll.
Bennett,
Yes.
Payne,
Yes.
Nickerson,
Yes.
Barnes,
Yes.
McKeever,
Yes.
Dement,
Yes.
Henderson,
Yes.
Prohl,
Yes.
Creed.
Yes.
The ordinance is adopted. Next ordinance.
Item number 2 is the third reading of an ordinance accepting and adopting the Chiillicothe Transit Department's updated Title VI policy and procedure and declaring an emergency.
Clerk will call the roll.
Bennett,
Yes.
Payne,
Yes.
Nickerson,
Yes.
Barnes,
Yes.
McKeever,
Yes.
Dement,
Yes.
Henderson,
Yes.
Prohl,
Yes.
Creed.
Yes.
Ordinance is adopted. Next ordinance.
Item number 3 is the third reading of an ordinance accepting and adopting the Chiillicothe Transit Department's updated drug and alcohol testing policy and declaring an emergency.
Clerk will call the roll.
Bennett,
Yes.
Payne,
Yes.
Nickerson,
Yes.
Barnes,
Yes.
McKeever,
Yes.
Dement,
Yes.
Henderson,
Yes.
Prohl,
Yes.
Creed.
Yes.
Ordinance is adopted. Next ordinance.
Item number 4 is the third reading of an ordinance accepting and appropriating $21,331.50 received from the Ohio Attorney General's Office for the Chiillicothe Police Department's participation in the Q4 Continuing Professional Education Program and declaring an emergency.
Clerk will call the roll.
Bennett,
Yes.
Payne,
Yes.
Nickerson,
Yes.
Barnes,
Yes.
McKeever,
Yes.
Dement,
Yes.
Henderson,
Yes.
Prohl,
Yes.
Creed.
Yes.
Ordinance is adopted. And I understand there's a motion relative to this next ordinance, correct?
Yes, I make a motion to table number 5.
Is there a second to the motion? Bennett? Any discussion? Clerk will call the roll.
Bennett,
Yes.
Payne,
Yes.
Nickerson,
Yes.
Barnes,
Yes.
McKeever,
Yes.
Dement,
Yes.
Henderson,
Yes.
Prohl,
Yes.
Creed.
Yes.
Ordinance is tabled. Next ordinance.
The first reading of an ordinance appropriating $25,813.80 for costs related to the Chiillicothe Police Department's annual Zurcher maintenance and fees, and for the purchase of AVL software for computer-aided dispatch system and declaring an emergency.
Clerk will call the roll. Oh, guess we don't need to. It's first reading. It'll move to the next agenda item.
Item number 7 is the first reading of an ordinance appropriating $25,000 for repairs to the Chiillicothe Fire Department Engine 1 and declaring an emergency.
That'll move to the next agenda.
Item number 8 is the first reading of an ordinance adding section 505.19, feeding of wildlife prohibited, to the codified ordinances of the City of Chiillicothe, Ohio.
That'll move to the next agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn? Bennett, seconded by Dr. Henderson. Clerk will call the roll.
Bennett,
Yes.
Payne,
Yes.
Nickerson,
Yes.
Barnes,
Yes.
McKeever,
Yes.
Dement,
Yes.
Henderson,
Yes.
Prohl,
Yes.
Creed.
Yes.
We are adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone who showed up tonight. Thank you.